Hey everybody, I love thrift shopping, and one of my favorite things to thrift are little shadow boxes. And this particular shadow box was just, it was not good. And so with a coat of paint, I made it look a bit like terracotta. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it does have texture to it. Looks very terracotta-like, and I just put some of my favorite pieces of quote unquote junk in there that make me happy to look at. And so, of course, this is a great project to use for everyday decor. You can do it for holiday decor. You can even make it theme related. Someone messaged me and asked about going about making shadow boxes with like baby things in there or hunting things in there. And of course, you can always get much bigger shadow boxes. Michael carries bigger shadow boxes. And so just collecting those items and putting them in there can be a fun project and a nice decoration for your house or for the house of a loved one. It'd make a great gift for Christmas or baby shower. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about what you might want to do for a shadow box. Now, before we get to the video, I just want to say please like and subscribe. And below, leave me a little emoji that basically describes your personality in the comments below. Thanks so much. Now, the next thing that we're going to work on is a little miniature shadow box. Okay. Now, I found this shadow box at a thrift store. It is a hot mess. I mean, this is not adhered. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get this off the back or not. I think I paid $1 for this thing, but I'm going to open this up. I'm going to clean it up, and I'm going to make a little shadow box out of it. You can get little shadow boxes like this from Michael's. I've seen some at Hobby Lobby too, and you could probably even order them from Amazon if not overlooked, because I've just always kind of picked them up at thrift stores. But what I like to do is I like to take some of my doilies. Now, these are doilies that, again, I got from Temu. Um, Sometimes I'll use my antique doilies if they're stained and I can't really use them in the decor. These are just regular manufactured doilies, but they're pretty. They're still very pretty. And you can use these in projects um, using doilies for decorations. I've made some doily projects before using some of the more antique things. And I'm not sure if I want to go with the more beige or if I want to go with the white. So I'll make that decision in a little bit. But in the shadow box, you can add things that you love. And it doesn't even have to make sense. You can just like the way that they look. Um, I love this barrette, little pearls on it. My hair's too thick to use it. But I've just had it and I like it, so I may put that in there. This is a little vintage piece I've had for a very, very long time. I'm not sure exactly where I got it, but it goes in those little cubbies. If you got like the little square cubbies that you put up, but it says Coca-Cola on it. I might put that in there. Um, I like keys, old keys. I got these from Temu. I think you get them off Amazon too, but they're just little decorative keys that you can use in craft projects. They're brass with a little bit of like green paint on them to make it look like patina. You can paint these if you don't like the color. They're easy to spray paint. Like if I wanted to make them black or something along those lines, I could certainly do that. Or I could change them and make them look bronze. I might put some of that in there. Um, Here are some little hooks. Um, I could probably fix the hook to the back of the box, maybe hang a key from it, you know, something like that. I don't know. But these are just some ideas that I have. I'm not sure exactly yet what I'm going to put in the box, but the first thing I am going to do is get this box taken apart and cleaned up. Okay, so I got it taken apart. I was able to apply or pry, I should say, pry the back of it off and scrape the stuff off, wash the little um, glass piece that was in there. This was originally glued to this, and the glue had broken down, so I'll fix that back once I'm done. I'll put that to the side for now. And then I'll wash this up. Probably messed up doing that because this is looks like it's probably made out of MDF. And so it's been swelling a bit. That's okay. We will just figure out a way to do something textured on it or something. I don't know. We'll pivot essentially. All right, now what to do for background on this? Well, I got this new Iron Orchid Design transfer book. It's part of the Christmas season decor. However, it's certainly not solely Christmas season. It's called Transfer Clementine, and it's got some really gorgeous transfers in it. So I'm thinking about using one of these in the background. Um, and whatever picture I use, I will um, take the color ideas from it. Oh, that's gorgeous. Um, there's some oranges. It's pretty. I think that's the last page there. Uh, let's see here. I'm going to do oranges. That might be really pretty. I do like that, but I may save this large piece for something a little bit more substantial because I mean, I could use that part of it, but I don't want to waste it. Um, I did like this too. I may be doing something along those lines. Yeah, if you're going to do it, you probably want to do the cabbage flower. I think I'm going to go with the oranges. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with this first because it's bubbling up. And I don't know if y'all can see that. Isn't that terrible? So what happens when you like put something underwater that isn't supposed to be underwater. It's not supposed to be underwater. Anyway, so I think I'm going to try to make this some sort of a texture, maybe kind of make it look a little stone or whatever. I'm going to use some spackling compound to do that with. And then I've got three colors. I'm going to paint the background this color because I believe that a black background with this on top of it would really make this orange and yellows pop. I'm going to paint the frame Everett green um, because I think that would tie in with the leaves and all. Well, we'll see. May change my mind, but that's where I'm going with it now. So I was considering doing prairie yellow for the background, but I think the black will look better. So the first thing I'll do for is let's get the black going and drying. This is Coal Black by Fusion. Coal Black by Fusion paint. And again, Fusion, if you don't remember, Fusion has both a sealer and a primer in it, which makes it nice for, of course, painting furniture, to paint furniture. Um, but it's great for craft projects. And I like getting these little sample bottles from one of my retailers that I get stuff from. Um, she has a good price on them, in my opinion. Susie on the Farm. She's out of, I believe, out of North Alabama, somewhere close to Birmingham. So she had a big sale several months ago, and I got several, almost one in every color that she had. Um, try to keep a supply of little samplers going anytime. I have purchased some of the bigger um, pint size bottles of these things, but I'll tell you, I don't use that much, and one of those pint sizes will last me, forever. So I wish they had something that was between a sampler and the pint size to use. But until then, I'll just use the samples, the sample sizes. I was hoping to just be able to do this in one coat, but I'm going to need to let this dry and then put a second coat on, I'm sure. Okay. Set that to the side and let it dry. Okay, now, y'all, I have the worst luck with spackling compound. I mean, I love to use spackling compound for, trying to make projects look like they're made out of stone or giving them texture or whatever. And so the last bit of spackling compound I had, it molded. Never had that happen before, but it did. This just stinks. I mean, it smells like it's burned. Um, I mean, there's no evidence of bacteria in it, but y'all, it just smells to high heaven. And I don't know that it's supposed to stink like this, but whatever. So, but let's just kind of put some of this on here. I'm using a spatula. It's supposed to be a Cricut spatula, but it's basically a knockoff from the Dollar Tree. So paid $1.25 for it. Um, but it does the job that I need for it to do. So we're going to just frost this like a piece of cake. Ooh, cake, y'all, cake. All right. How many of y'all love some cake there? Depends on the cake, right? Let's spread this on. Just keep the bottom clear for right now until the tops and sides dry. It's a little bit satisfying right there. Look at that. That actually looks so pretty. When this dries, see, I'll just sand it and it'll kind of look maybe like it's made out of some sort of like, pottery or something like that. Ooh, that would be an idea. Could make this look like terracotta. That might be pretty with that orange. I don't know, we'll see. So most of the time when I start out with a project, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I just have an idea of what I would like to do generally, but I don't have a fixed plan. I'm like, this might work. Let's try this. And then if I don't like it, then I undo it and I do something different. I probably need to go ahead and do the front here. Picture looks a little fallish. Of course, you can leave it up probably through Christmas maybe, but we'll see how it turned out. People do decorate with oranges during the holidays. I've never done it before, but I have seen it done. Of course, y'all remember the stories you used to hear from your grandparents. Look at all them toys. When I was a little kid, all I got was an orange and a string, and all three of us had to share it. You remember that? Like, why are you telling me that story? Yeah, that sucks for you, but don't be raining on my parade, right? That to the side to dry. Add the bottom part on there later. That usually dries pretty quick, definitely in a day or so. Now, one of the things you can do is if you don't feel like waiting for something to dry, you can get a heat gun or a hair dryer. This actually is a heat tool that you use for embossing. I've never done embossing before. I just got this because I wanted one and it was on sale, so I got it. There we go. That's what I'm going to need right there. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but it's got these little ridges where the paint lines were. I'm going to sand that and then put another coat on. So let's see what that looks like when I do that. I may be going about to mess something up, but we'll see. I have a little finger sander. Got this from Amazon. Comes with these cute little uh, pieces of sandpaper that you can peel off and put another one on. You can get a fine grit and a coarse grit, and then they come together. So I bought a pack of this over a year ago, and it's lasted me this whole time. So bit better finish there. Perfect. Some of these areas are going to be covered up, so it might have not mattered so much to have the ridges in it, but I really kind of wanted it to be as smooth as I could get it, so, but that's me. There we go. That's going to look good, in my humble opinion. Cool it off a little bit. Okay, now, let's see how this would best look. I think I'm going to do it from this side over, so these will be cut off here. I could probably just go ahead and just cut all the way down that edge there. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so now these are the transfers from Iron Orchid Design called the Clementine. I kind of didn't cut that right, did I? Oh, well, whatever. If it wraps around, it wraps around, not a biggie. Okay, let me get the little plastic stick. I'm just going to push it on and lift up. Now, if this paint that I had, if it didn't have a built-in sealer and primer in it, definitely a built-in sealer, I would need to seal this piece. Otherwise, this transfer would just end up pulling the paint off and leaving the transfer on. So that's another reason I like to use Fusion paint or the Cottage Colors of DIY, because I don't have to worry about sealing it. Now, if I wanted to use one of those colors, then I could do like a polyacrylic sealer for it. Um, and ideally, if I weren't in a hurry, I'd probably just set this piece to the side before putting this transfer on and kind of let it sit for a little bit. And I'm not necessarily in a hurry, but I do want to try to get as much of the project done today as I can because, well, tomorrow I have to work a whole day. Tomorrow's one of my 9-hour days that I do online. And when I usually finish my 9-hour day, my brain's scrambled and my voice is weak, so I don't do a whole lot else other than just kind of stare off into space and take a shower, sometimes at the same time. So my daughter this year is a senior in high school, which is, when she gets finished, we're going to take the opportunity to relocate back to Alabama, close to family. But she has now decided that she wants to do psychiatry. She wants to be a psychiatrist, which means she's going to have to go to medical school. And those of y'all who know me know how I feel about that. But I do not want to discourage her. If that's what she wants to do, then I want her to do it. I do worry about her going to medical school with all that's changed since I was there. But, you know, I do know that Auburn has a DO program now. And had that been in place at the time I was considering my options, I might have stayed in Auburn rather than going up to Birmingham. So originally she was going to be a psychologist and she wanted to do a forensic psychology, and now she's thinking she wants to be a psychiatrist. If that's what she wants to do, I will absolutely support her through it. That's one of the things that I always said I would do when my children decided what they wanted to do in their life. They did not need to be a doctor, lawyer, or accountant. They could be anything they wanted to be. So my son was going to be a school teacher. He's about to finish up his last part of college. He only had one credit hour to finish, and and it's a research project. So that's the reason that it's only 1 credit hour, but it's going to take him the full semester to do it because it's a research project. And he'll have a math degree and his teaching degree, and he's already tested and passed all the tests to be a teacher. He's going to be teaching math. And then he decided he's not real certain he likes the children, which I understand. I understand because I used to feel the same way. Um, I like my children. You know, don't we all like our children? We don't like everybody else's children. But anyway, now he's decided he thinks he might want to be an electrician, which is fine. That is fine. So I told him I might finish your degree and then go be an electrician. So that's the plan. And I'm totally fine with that. I think it'd be fun, actually, to be honest with you. I wouldn't mind being an electrician or a mechanic, or I don't think I'd like being a plumber. I don't think that would be fun. But being a mechanic or an electrician, I think that could be interesting work. And as a matter of fact, at one point I actually thought about taking night classes when I used to work during the days, taking night classes at a local community college and learn how to become a mechanic. But there were other classes that would have been during the times where I would have needed to work, so I abandoned that idea. Now, I've got that on. Let's see, which one of these doilies would look best? Should I use a white one or should I use a beige one? I'm kind of thinking the beige might be prettier. Well, I like that. That's gorgeous. So, and it might just be something really quite simple like that. I don't want it to cover up my little orange though. Let's see, maybe something like, oh, that might work. And I just want a piece of it. I don't want the whole thing covered, just a piece. Uh, Here's another one. Like that one. I kind of like this one. Kind of goes along with the whole flower thing, doesn't it? I think I'm gonna go with that. Let me see what the white looks like though before I do that. That makes the sash pop a little bit. But I like how this brings out the tones and the flowers and the leaves. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that one. Let me know in the comments which one you like better. Should I have gone with the white? I don't know. So, but we'll see how this turns out. So let me go ahead and figure how I want this on here. Maybe something like that. And then let's get my scissors. And how am I going to fix it to this? Well, you can hot glue this one. Carefully though, of course, but you can hot glue it. Which I need to get the old heat gun, the hot glue gun going, don't I? I'm not sure if I got it heated up or not. Yeah, sometimes I accidentally leave this thing plugged in for days. Yeah, no, it's not heated. Plugged in. And thank the Lord afterwards that my house didn't burn down. I wish I could find me a hot glue gun that's got an on-off switch. Now this one has a high-low switch, but it'd be nice to leave it plugged in and have an on-off switch. I'm sure there's one out there, just haven't found it yet. But that's the goal. Okay. Now, these little scraps I could probably use, so I'll probably hold on to those for right now. And get this glued on. You might could even do something on the opposite side. I don't know, that might be a little much. Okay. So we'll get the heat gun, the hot glue gun heated up, and we'll use that, and then we'll see what other kinds of little embellishments I might want to put on there. I did find an H. That'd be kind of cute to be on there. And I also have some of these. I forgot about these, but these are fun. Little blingies that I could probably just kind of put on there. There's various different ones of these. There is a cameo. I have considered doing a cameo. Wouldn't that be pretty? Oh yeah, look at that. I like that. So I like making pictures with collages in them. Um, I don't do it a lot, not as much as I'd like. So that's why we'll collect these little whatnot things. Let's open this up. Now, I love how it has this little hanging down thing. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh. Of course, I have to make sure I put this in an area where it would be able to hang, which this might not be the best project for that. Here I we go with this one here. When I originally got this, I didn't particularly care for the flowers, but with this, kind of works. Kind of works, in my opinion. Kind of like it. What do you think? The black cameo or the beigey one? I just think I'm drawn to this one. You know what else we could do too? Let's see what kind of buttons I have. Let's see what kind of fun buttons are in here. Many of them were owned my by my by her mother, um, and I just like using them in many of my projects. Kind of like that. I like that turquoise color on there. I like layering them. We bit of bling. Can cut the back off that. That's definitely plastic. That might be kind of fun to have on there. Now, I want y'all to keep in mind what I said about being a maximalist and liking gaudy, okay? Some of y'all might not like what I put on my little vignette here that I'm gonna be doing, okay? That's all right, y'all ain't got to. When y'all do yours, if you do one of these, you do it the way you wanna do it, see? Now, what I'm gonna do is just put a little glue on the back of these, in the thicker sections. Go. Got that glued down pretty good. I'm gonna trim it up. And then I'm gonna glue this little silver piece in the center. Okay. And then I'm gonna glue this piece down. And then we'll glue this piece on top of that. All right. Okay, let's layer this one up. I'll be like, now what if I don't have any buttons? Well, if you don't have any buttons, find something that you do have, that you do like. Because we all collect little things. Sometimes we have them stuck away somewhere. Sometimes we forget we even have them. And they could be used in something like this. Put a tiny drop of glue on here. Let's put this on top. There we go. Get those strings off. Okay. All right. I could E6000 this down, but to be honest with you, I don't mind it being a little bit temporary because what if I get tired of it and I want to change it and do something else? I could do that. Um, I love to take down things that I've done already and redo them into something different rather than just throwing it out. Now I used some tin snips to try to cut the back of this off so I could glue it easier. So it will make it a little bit easier to fix to the back of this. So I like the little bling there. Just a little bling, little bling. I don't know. Okay, so I have the dried uh, picture frame and from where I put the spackling compound on it, and I'm going to just sand this down. My finger sander strips are I'm out of them, so I'm going to just use a regular piece of sandpaper. I believe this is actually a 120 grit. You may want to go higher than 120, like 180 or 220, but this should be okay. Sands up nicely. Okay, now I'm going to use some folk art chalk paint. This color is called Fired Clay. And I'll tell you, it looks just like terracotta when you... Right now it's looking very orange. However, once this dries and I get the waxes on it, it will look very similar to terracotta, which I think will look really pretty with this collage that I've made to put inside. Now since this is more of a shadow box type frame, I am definitely going to paint this inside here. So this is probably going to need 1 or 2 more coats, and once I get that done and it's dried, we'll pick up from there. Okay, now that I have 3 coats on this, I'm going to go ahead and begin the waxing process. So I have 2 waxes. This is the dark wax by DIY. Actually, it's the white wax by DIY. And then this is the dark wax by Debbie's DIY, or Debbie's Design Diary. Now, I'm going to put the white wax on first. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I do want to put dark wax on. But sometimes with chalk paint, it is going to grab up that pigment from the dark wax, can get pretty dark. And so if you put the white wax on and then add the dark wax, it'll prevent the piece that you're working on from getting too dark. If it does, you can always use white wax like an eraser to lighten it up. So I'm going to put the white wax on all the way around, and then once I have that on, I'll wipe it off. Now to wipe back the excess wax from the frame, I'm just going to use some paper towels. You can use a microfiber rag or washcloth, or shop towels are really good with this too. I just don't have any shop towels. The blue shop towels, I don't have any at this time. So I'm going to get the excess white wax off, and once I do that, I will apply the dark wax next. Now I did not white wax the inside of the frame because I'm okay with the darker pigmentation on the inside. Since it's a shadow box, I would like for it to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to go all the way around the inside of the frame with the dark wax, and I will wipe back the excess once I'm done with that. Now here is the frame once I've gotten it wiped back. You can see the inside's a little darker than on the outside, but to me it looks like a nice piece of terracotta. Okay, now I'm going to get the frame ready to put together, and I'm going to use some alcohol to just wipe the glass off, make sure it's nice and clear and it's clean on both sides. And I'm going to also use that alcohol to make sure that there is no excess wax on the inside, because I need to glue this glass to the inside frame. And for that, I will use a little bit of hot glue and some E6000. Okay, and here is what the E6000 looks like, and I'm going to use that to place just on this inner lip. And you'll see I'll do a small section, skip a space, do a small section, skip a space, and I'm going to do that all the way around. In the spaces, I will put the hot glue. The hot glue will hold the frame intact in the short term while I'm waiting for that E6000 to dry. In the long term, and should for whatever reason this frame get warm, the hot glue, if the hot glue were to melt or whatever, the glass frame should not come loose, because the E6000 will hold it in place. Okay, now let's put the hot glue between the areas of E6000. And then I'm just going to set the glass into that, press it gently down without getting any, using the tip of my fingernails so that I don't get fingerprints on the inside of the glass. Now I'm just going to pop my collage or little vignette piece into the lip on the back. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to hold it into place. It does pop in and seem to hold by itself without me having to add anything to keep it closed. So given that I like to take things apart and repurpose them when I get tired of them, I may just leave it temporary. Or I could just put a little hot glue on the edges to hold it in place, because that would be pretty easy to remove if I ever wanted to open it back up and use the shadow box for something else. And once I removed all of the little blue strings and I have it securely in place, this is my little finished product. It looks so cute. I just love it. So let me show y'all what it looks like staged. And here it is. I've even paired it with my little candlestick. I've got a little candle in it, and I've got some little flowers around my candlestick.